Okay, now that we have our skeleton all finished and placed, we want to bind the geometry to this skeleton. So I'm just going to go and delete the history of this object. That way, completely clean. And I'm noticing that we're gonna just do a binding. This is not rigging. Rigging is more than just creating a skeleton. So we're just gonna do quick banding of it, and we're gonna try rigging later on the semester, but not at this point yet. So I'm gonna select the root join, uh, which is in this case that hip area. If I wanted to have a join, let's just do that one for the beak, so that we can create control a little bit more of that jaw. I guess I can do just that, and then this one will become a child of that one. Okay, let's see if it did it there. Yes, it should be in the center. Okay, so now let's just do that. Let's just grab this guy, select the join first, select the geometry second, go under skin, bind skin. We're gonna open it up. I'm gonna say join hierarchy. Closest distance will be fine, and we can just use a classic linear. If you have a character that is completely close, meaning that there is no holes in the geometry at all, you could try a geodesic voxel, which has a better algorithm and creates better weight painting. For that reason, also you need to have joins completely inside of geometry. If you have a joint outside of geometry, you may have troubles with it. So I'm gonna just try to go with that for now, see how that works. And maximum influence, I'm gonna say 4. What this is how many joins will be influencing each vertex. So you see that each vertex is going to be modified by a join, or by a number of joins. So each vertex, in this case, I'm saying, okay, this vertex is going to be receiving weight from 4 different joins. So I'm going to say bind my skin. There you go. Just go and just takes a few seconds to do that. And now I'm ready to start posing my character the best I can. It's not the greatest thing though. Let's just try to have it. If I hold shift and open up my join chain here, we have them all there in order. So I'm just going to go and use my X-ray for a moment here to look at it, and I'm gonna start by posing it. So I'm just gonna go and bring my character down a little bit, maybe rotating some of these guys over a little bit. So of course weight painting becomes an issue, but if you used geodesic, you should be able to get a decent amount. You know, the challenge, at least in the formation, the challenge with this is when you get into things like fingers and toes and stuff. But in this case, not too bad. Influences were enough. You know, we lost some weight in some certain parts, and we're gonna have to modify those. But in general, we got a pretty decent. I'm just using my arrow key to go down the chain. A pretty decent weight, or a decent effect on my weight painting. What if my let's see that this, and then I try to generate. Let's say I'm gonna grab the whole tail. Start usually with the last one, and then go upwards, and then you say, for example, just with all selected, I can just bend my tail that way, and then deselect maybe that one. Sorry, I'm just doing one more time. That, and that, and then just gonna bring this one back a little bit like this. So that way I can get decent enough weight. Okay, so I'm gonna just bring it up a little bit so that, oh, not that leg, I'm gonna bring the whole thing up. I'm gonna just probably tip it up a little bit, and then grab. Usually I don't move just one joint at a time. I rotate them. In this case, rotate them. I can move them too, but I try not to move them as much. I can rotate them in groups. So just say you grab 1, 2, 3, and then I can rotate, let's say, to make the effect a bit more organic. When you do just one at a time, yes, it's doable, but you start risking the chance of not making it look too organic. Okay, what if I need to do a little bit of painting, right? So you see that my creature is not looking too bad. And of course I would have to go manipulate each one of those fingers. And I can see here some of my fingers are getting already distorted and deformed and not looking good the way I want them to look. You see how they are affecting other things. So what I want to do is I want to do some weight painting on this by just saying skin, paint skin weights, and open it up, and that launches my weight painting tool. And then I'm just gonna have to, you see here as you're showing my brush already, so I can change that by changing here the weight works. So I'm gonna just keep it simple so that we don't get too heavy on this, but in essence we're gonna paint the influence of those joints over the geometry. So for example, I know this joint is called joint 35, and of course the previous one probably was joint 34. So if I go back to my weight painting tool, I'm going to look for joint 35. My naming convention is not the best, but didn't pay much attention to it. We're not doing full rigging yet, so we're just using it for deformation. Joint 35 and 34 somewhere here. 32, 33, 34. I don't think that's it. That's not right. Those are the duplicates of the duplicates. Let me just find them somewhere here. They should be. Those are the finger. This is it. Alright, so joint 34, there it is, and joint 35. The naming is not best. So you probably want to do some naming. So I'm going to be painting, for example, joint 34, which is the one that controls that, and see how much that is. So you see that this gray means that there is influence, that white, full white is 4% influence. You can use the colors if you want it to be more fancy. I usually use just black and gray. So white is a lot of influence, 100% influence, black is non-influence at all. In this case, I want joint 34 to have a lot of influence on that little thing. I'm going to change with hold my B key, I can change my brush. And I'm going to try to paint on that guy. And I'm going to see, I'm just going to paint. I'm not going to smooth, I actually need to add influence there. So I'm going to be painting that influence on all that. That way it's all of it. That whole finger receives weight from that joint. Just make sure that you just paint over. It becomes a little hard to see it because you probably want to work on mode 1 so that you're seeing the geometry as it is. And of course, transition to the previous joint 33 is going to have to be worked out, because joint 33 you don't want to be doing 100%. Probably you want to be doing maybe a value of 0.5. So you're adding 0.5 to that. That's what the 3. So that part of the joint gets. So of course you have to go around and start painting section by section. See, for example, you see that this finger is being affected by this joint. You see when I do that, that piece is moving there. So it means that I need to identify that joint. I think is that one is part of this chain. There is joint 33. That means that these joints need to be influenced better. I'm using value 0.5. I'm adding a value of 0.5 to these little guys here to get it to become more part of that. I'm gonna go to the next one, just paint a little bit on the next one there. So of course if I pass my brush twice, it means I'm doing one, value of 1 in total. So you pass it once, use value of 0.5. Let's go to the previous one just to paint a little bit more there. There we go. And then the last one, doesn't matter the last one unless I want to have that claw to move. You're not gonna keep it like that for now. So of course you have to go back and just fine tune all the different parts and rotate them. Once you have, let's say, for example, I do this there, which is not bad. I think it's pretty decent. I'm just gonna be able to pose my character there. This, for example, I'm showing that some of the weight painting there is not quite right. So that means that the joint joint 37 needs a little bit of influence there. So I'm going to just change the influence and say 0.2. So joint 37 has a little bit of influence on this guy here, so that it doesn't let it bend down so much. So you're just doing influence of the previous joint over that one. That way you maintain a little bit more of the volume. And then same down here. Okay, so if once I have that, my character is posed to what I want him to be, I just grab the geometry and I'm going to duplicate it. Right? That gets a duplicate of my character right there. I just give it a name, Dino duplicate. And the duplicate gets all of the attributes fixed, so I could not move it because it thinks it's rigged. It's not the actual one. You gotta be careful because you're not gonna change the duplicate, the original one. So I'm gonna just select these guys here. I'm gonna right click. I'm gonna say unlock. That way I can go use my tool and move it to the side, and then I can use this one for my rendering scene, and I can go back and bring this guy back to where I want him, to the next pose that I want to create. And in order for me to create the next pose, if you don't want to start from this pose, you can go back to say skin, go to bind pose. I'm selecting actually the joint. I'm just select the foot joint there. I'm gonna say skin, go to bind pose, and then the character goes back to where it was bound, so I can start from there, posing him again to the next position, and so on and so forth. All right, I hope this guides you, helps you creating good poses for your characters.